Hello comic fans, here's Earl Grey with 3 books from Brecht Evans, or Brecht Evans, however you pronounce him. He is already celebrated as the biggest comic sensation coming from Belgium since Hergé. I don't know if I can agree to that assessment because, most and foremost because there have been a lot of good comic creators and fantastic comic creators from Belgium since. But I do like his comics a lot. And there will be a new English publication in next year, 2020. It has been already came out in French. I don't have it, obviously, but it looks very promising, what I could see online from it. So maybe the next book might be my favorite of Evans. So far it is this book here, The Making of. It's not necessarily the best one, I think. That has to be actually that book down below there. But the subject speaks to me the most. And I found this story about moderately successful artist who becomes the boss of a group exhibition somewhere in the open land in a little village, and he has to work with some artists who are not actually really artists but amateurs. So the German title of this book here is Die Amateure, which translates obviously to the amateurs. It's a bit too much on the nose because you can read this as a pretty proper satire on the comic world, but done with lots of love and sympathy for these people here who create art. And Brecht Evans' stories are always even more about not just about the characters, but about the relations between them. So the story is a bit... I found his stories to be the strongest when it's about the relations between the characters, between the protagonists. And this comes very good across with this book here. There are fantastic pages, and as you can see when I'm flipping through these pages here, his art is outstanding. Some panels are saturated with colors, and he has a really unique style of doing his pages, and a lot of details and some stuff that even tells its own story within the story, as for an example to this couple here. He is often obviously suffering from Parkinson, but that's never really a big part in the story. It's just one little detail at the corner, and these multi-layered pictures, you don't want to say really panels to them, even if they are here. They are panels, but they don't have any borders, and often they are multi-layered. And what he's doing with, for the main part, with watercolors, but with markers and whatever he finds handy, it's just not out of this world here. Other books would be glad to have one little panel picture out of this here for its cover. But this book here is graced from page to page with fantastic art. And to tell the story of these characters, these protagonists who have to build this group art exhibition, and I don't want to spoil with what they come up with, and it's not important. Important are these people here and how they interact with each other. And I found this very charming, and maybe the best book about art that I've read in a long time, because it's not pretentious. It's a lovingly parody. And that's the reason why I've liked this book a lot. The first book Brecht Evans did was The Wrong Place, and already showing his signature art style with these multi-layered compositions who are just below your mind. But just as a warning, and I found this part here in a particular bit of a drag. Let's see if I can find it. The end of this part here. It's all one story, and very much about the dichotomy of being popular and being unpopular. Very black and whitish, so to speak. And this first part here is dragging us into a party that is organized by this guy here, Gary. And he has invited a lot of friends, or should we call them friends, more acquaintances. But all they want to see is actually that guy Robbie. So everybody asks him, yeah, when does Robbie appear? And Gary tries to do some jokes, and he's very awkward and uptight. Unfortunately, he's the guy that I can relate to the most, because I'm not that party animal. And when there is someone who makes a joke that doesn't explode, but implodes in midair, then it's me. So yeah, I can really feel for that Gary guy. And when it's clear that Robbie doesn't appear, everyone leaves in a rush this party. That's what you can read for the first part of the story, and it's not really fun, you know. And Brecht Evans' books are not in particular about fun. But the book improves a lot when actually this Robbie guy here appears, and he is a guy who is loved by everyone, men and women alike, but especially by women. There's you can see here. And it's a beautiful book, very well done. It's just that the subject is not the most enjoyable. But if you want to read a book about being popular versus being unpopular, done in beautiful colors, The Wrong Place is your book. And speaking of topics that may spoil your enjoyment of a book, this book here is hands down the artistically most accomplished work of Brecht Evans so far, in my opinion, and maybe not just in my opinion. But it is clearly, as it turns out, towards the end, and you will guess it, quite frankly, in the beginning. But if you don't want to be spoiled, then skip the next 20 seconds. So, ready? It's about child abuse, and it's very clear in the end and very intense. So, okay, and this book here really works towards this end, and it's about the imaginary friend, I want to say, of this girl, this panther creature that changes its shape in every panel, in each panel, and the book in itself is the best made out of these, at least if I can. This is from Drawn Quarterly. Let's see if this is from. Oh, The Wrong Place was from Jonathan Cape, London. This is just a soft cover which uses good paper, but could have been bigger in format. I think the German version maybe even is a bit bigger. So I have chosen the best book here, and that's from that Jonathan Cape London publisher as well, sponsored by the Flemish Literature Fund. So they have really funded the right artist, because I expect nothing but greatness from this Brecht guy. And yeah, so this is a fantastic, intense read here. Panels or pages like this. You are not surprised to hear that Brecht Evans got a private crisis, I think while doing Panther or just shortly after doing this book here. He went crazy, as he himself put it, afterwards. So, but now he's fine, I think, and the next book that will be published is shows us this fact that he's already sane, but he does insanely crazy, in a positive sense, books, and highly recommended if you are one of these readers who can bear some difficult topics and maybe stories that are more about the relations between the protagonists, and if some story just fizzles out in the end, and that's pretty typical for, at least for the two books here above. This fizzles out sort of, and this fizzles sort of. But I thought I thought critiques that complain about that fact. So I just want to mention that. But I thought these were just the exact endings to end these kind of comics. Panther, of course, has a very poignant ending. Maybe, yeah, you could have seen this coming some pages before. So other critics said these comics are simply too long. And you can, story-wise, boil them down to some half or a third of these pages. But I think a lot of the atmosphere and the details, of course, were gone, and it would be a pity. So I'm glad that these comics are as thick books as they are, but you maybe need a bit of more of patience with them. And you will be rewarded big time. And thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.